Hi everyone, this is Karen. Welcome. We're going to be moving through a yoga practice and then transitioning into a seated meditation. So have a cushion nearby, something you can prop yourself up on. Have a chair nearby if that works better. And then as you're ready, come and have a seat on your mat with your hands down on your thighs. And we'll start our practice today just resourcing our breath, taking 3 big breaths together. We're going to breathe in through the nose. If you like to let it out with a sigh through your mouth, just to let everything settle, feel free to always use those exhales out of the mouth to release anything that arises within your practice today. So we'll start with hands down. You can let the eyes gently close. Sit up nice and tall so that you feel your head is right over your tail, so maybe a slight shift back. And let's take a big breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. And breathing in through the nose, and rather it being a sniff through the nose, really pulling that breath more in through the throat so you feel the air passing over the throat. And out of the mouth. Feel yourself dropping down into the space of the body. One more big breath. Feel your torso filling up, feel your lungs filling up like a balloon. And then exhaling all of that air out. Good, and maintaining that connection and awareness to breath. Let's invite some movement into the body by just dropping the right ear over to the right shoulder, settling into a nice stretch through the left side of the neck, breathing in, breathing out, feeling free to add the right arm over the ear to just create a little bit more traction for the neck if that feels good and right for the body. And then releasing, head back to neutral. And drop the left ear over to the left shoulder. And again, adding that left arm up and around and over the ear if that feels good. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then coming back to neutral. Let the chin drop down to the chest. Just feel that nice stretch through the back of the neck. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good, and take both hands, wrap them around, interlace your fingers, and just start to stretch the fingers back in space. You feel that nice stretch through the shoulders here. Breathing in. And out. Good, and then releasing hands back to the knees. And then just making that movement a little bit more fluid. Bring the right ear to right shoulder. And then dropping the chin down to the chest. Left ear to the left shoulder. And then back down, chin to chest. Right ear to shoulder. Making these movements as big or as small as feels right for your body. But just creating some fluid motion here in both sides and the back of the neck. Synchronizing the movement with your breath. And then coming back to neutral. And let's bring some movement into the shoulders. Inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears, back, around, and down. Feeling free to use that side of the mouth. In, around, and back as they come down. Making these big movements with the shoulders. Feeling all of that tension in the shoulders starting to just unwind. And then changing directions. Just absorbing yourself in both the breath and in that fluid movement in the shoulders. And coming back to neutral. And just shaking the head around a little bit, the shoulders intuitively, just releasing anything there. Maybe even bringing the shoulders up, And really just dropping them down with a big sigh. And just sitting nice and tall. Feel your sit bones really pressing down into the mat. Engage the lower belly, sitting up nice and tall. And inhale and stretch the arms all the way up overhead. And now keep that nice connection with your sit bones down to the ground. Start to feel yourself energetically lifting up, stretching up, fingertips towards the sky, even as you stay rooted, sit bones to the mat. Take one big breath here. Lengthen and elongate your torso. And exhale. Press away actively, nice and slow. Activate all the way through the fingertips to come down. Good, bring right hand to the right side of your mat. Inhale. And stretch your left arm up. Lengthening the torso, either using your fingertips to cup the mat and pressing away, or coming down into the elbow if that feels better. Just finding a place for you where both sides of the torso are staying nice and long. Breathing in. And then exhaling the left arm all the way down. And inhaling the right arm up. Lengthening, feel that you're creating space in between the ribs as you breathe in and out. Staying rooted through the sit bones, breathing in, lengthening through the fingertips, and then pressing down and away. Good, and bringing the hands to the knees. Just creating some circles through the hips here, just starting to wake up the pelvis, the hips, and again, creating that fluidity of movement in the body. Bending at the elbows, keeping engaged through your lower abdomen here, so you're starting to wake up and warm up the lower back. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. And then switch directions as you're ready. And just letting these really subtle movements wake up the body physically and energetically as you really deeply connect into your breathing, subtle attention within your own body. And then coming back to neutral position. Feeling into that nice tall spine we're creating, maybe feeling some energy awakening in the body. And then let's transition our way onto hands and knees. Bringing the fingertips underneath your shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And taking our first cat-cows, really activating, waking up the spine here. Inhaling to arch the spine. If you like to press your toes into the mat as you inhale, feel how that accentuates that opening through the chest. And then exhaling, feet flat, rounded spine, looking towards the navel. Take a few more at your own pace. See if you can synchronize that inhale with the opening of the chest and the exhale with the rounding of the spine. Making the breath audible can help to keep your attention engaged and absorbed in the body. So breathing in and out, really feeling that activation of the breath in the throat. And then coming back to a neutral spine, feel all that length from your tailbone all the way through to your crown. And then firing up the abdominals here, creating a little bit of heat in the body. Send your right leg back so it's parallel with the mat. Point the toes and extend the leg out. And then lift your left arm forward, bicep to the ear, and stretch apart in both directions. Really engage your abdominal muscles, your core strength. Keeping the two hips square here, stretching apart, breathe in. Get long, and then release. Good. Then stretch the left leg back, point the toes, extend the leg back. parallel with the mat. Inhale, stretch the right arm forward. Find the balance. Just feel the steadiness of your pose, steadiness of your gaze, steadiness of your breath. Feeling the body start to heat up here as you fire up the abdominal muscles. And feeling these qualities of your balanced mind as you stretch in both directions. And then releasing hand, releasing the leg. Good, for a moment, drop the hips down into child's pose, stretch the arms forward, you can spread the knees wide, take a couple of breaths here, just melting the lower back here, and dropping forehead down towards the mat. And deep breaths in and out. And letting go, releasing anything mentally, emotionally that you're ready to release. And then coming up onto your hands and knees again, moving into our first downward facing dog. Feel free to spread your feet wide here on the outer edges of the mat and then lift the hips up. And just wake up here. Welcome this first downward dog position. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to. Get nice and long. Let the head and the neck relax. And just feel into all of those sensations through the back of the legs, the calves, the back of the knees, and the hamstrings. Letting the lower back lengthen. Really pressing into the knuckles. Imagine your chest magnetizing towards your thighs. Be gazing up towards your navel here. And if you like to come up on the toes and down, or bring the heels to the right or the left, just playing a little bit here or marching in place. Saying hello to the whole back of your body here. And this is the seat of our willpower. The back of the body, feeling connected to that strength in the body. And staying soft through the head and the neck and the face, the jaw. And then bringing the feet hip width apart and coming forward into our plank pose. And again, just firing up the lower belly. If it's too much, you can always come down onto your knees. And continue to fire up the abdominal muscles here. Or otherwise, just holding in plank here, pulling in through the lower belly, lifting the upper body up towards the sky. Take another deep breath in. And then lowering down the knees. Keeping the elbows in close, lower down your chin and your chest. And then inhale, press the chest forward. And let's spread the fingers now wide. So the fingers come to either side of the mat. And let your feet open wider so you've got a really nice foundation on the mat here. Just pressing the feet into the ground, pressing your hips into the ground. And just cupping the floor with your fingertips. Take an inhale breath and lift your chest up, opening the chest, and then start to spiral your elbows down and forward. So you feel your back here activating. This is a back strengthening pose. And just breathing here a moment. And then exhaling, just rippling down. Letting the forehead touch. Inhale, let's come up again. Maybe you can come up energetically just a half inch higher, but not forcing it. Just coming up to a place you feel the muscles of your back start to engage. This is a supported backward bend, pressing the hips into the ground, pressing and pulling the lower belly in simultaneously. And then exhale, coming down. Let's do one more, forehead to the ground. And then inhale, coming up. Spiraling the elbows forward, the shoulders back. Gazing up, just opening up through the chest, through the heart. Breathing in. And then exhale, lowering all the way down, forehead down to the ground. Good, and use your hands, press into the mat, come up onto your hands and knees. Come back again, child's pose, opening up the knees wide, send your hips down to the ground, and breathing here. Good, and then coming up again onto hands and knees. Let's take a couple of big hip circles in either directions here. So the knees can be relatively wide, starting in a neutral position, and then sending your hips over to the right, back down, and around, and then forward. Just finding a rhythm here, finding your breath in the pose, taking as big of circles as feels good, intuitively to your body. Take one more and then switch directions. And then coming back to your neutral. Pressing up one more time into downward facing dog. Hips up. Breathing steady. Shaking out the head and the neck. And then looking forward, just stepping the feet forward, coming onto your bottom, crossing the legs underneath you, and putting the legs out in front of you here. Stretching the arms forward, pulling the lower belly in, and then rounding down. Imagine that you're coming down vertebrae by vertebrae, nice and slow with control. Engaging your core on the way down. And then as you come all the way down, scooting your heels in closer to your fingertips so they're grazing, preparing for our bridge pose. Take a deep breath, press your feet into the ground and lift your hips up. Just feeling into that bridge, and you can either keep your hands where they are or walk your shoulders underneath you, clasp your hands. Squeeze your inner thighs, lift your hips up towards the sky. Keep the legs nice and active, inner thighs active. Feeling in, connecting to that big backward bend. So working the area of the throat and the thyroid and the parathyroid gland, great for metabolism, your sleep-wake cycle here. And then slowly lowering hips down. And then just bringing arms out to a T, feet to the edge of the mat, just windshield wiper a couple times, knees right and left. And coming back to center, hug the knees into the chest if you like for a moment. Just wrapping the arms around. Giving yourself a big hug, maybe rolling and rocking around a couple times on the sacrum. And releasing the feet down. Keep your left foot on the ground and lift your right leg up and place your right foot on your left thigh here. We're creating this figure eight stretch for the hips on the back, and this can be enough, or if you want to lift that left foot off the floor, and just thread your arms through, grabbing for the back of the thigh. And breathing into this very supported, but very deep stretch for the hip. And keeping that right foot slightly flexed, just protecting the knee, The left foot can stay relaxed. And just finding a position where you're getting a nice deep stretch through the hip, but it's not too much, that you can continue to breathe and feel yourself deepening into the pose with each breath. And just loosening up some of that stress and tension that we hold in the hips. Giving the body this nice long moment to just unwind a bit here, any of that stress or tension, that holding on that we do sometimes unconsciously in the hips. So just allowing a little bit of release here, taking a couple more slow breaths. Feeling free to use that sigh or that long exhale out of the mouth. And then letting the left leg drop, left foot on the floor, and just switching legs, right foot on the mat, left foot up on the thigh. And move into the pose on this side, just keeping in mind that one side might feel different than the other, so just honoring your body, really listening to the stretch that needs to happen for this side of the body. And just using that gentle pressure, a gentle pull on the back of the right thigh. And really accessing the breath. So the magic of the yoga practice happening in the breath. Connecting and bridging the mind and the body through the vehicle of the breath, moving in and out. Finding a slow and even and steady breath, calming the mind, and encouraging the nervous system to relax, to turn off that fight or flight response that we can so often find ourselves in, just letting the relaxation response start to activate in the body. And that signals the muscles in the body to unwind, to relax, to hold, and to release any of the toxins or stress that we're actually holding on to deep within in the very cells of the body. So letting go with the exhale. And then releasing, bringing both feet down. Doing any last stretch that you feel you need to before we take a minute in Shavasana, maybe taking a happy baby pose. Grabbing for the outsides of the feet if that feels good, and rocking around a couple times. Or if you're ready, just coming into Savasana, letting your body just be still for a moment as we prepare for meditation. As you're ready, letting the legs extend, arms relax. Letting your body always integrate for a moment in stillness. And letting the energy of the postures just settle in your body. And letting the belly soften. Letting the brow soften. Your eyes might close and just relax back into their sockets for a moment. And just sinking into a moment of stillness within the body. And then wiggling a finger, wiggling your toes, bringing yourself back to physical sensation in the body. Stretching the arms up overhead, flexing or pointing the toes, just taking a big stretch through your whole body. And as you're ready, gently turning over onto your right side, coming into just a fetal position for a moment, letting yourself transition your way up slowly to seated. And pressing your hand, supporting yourself to come up. And then finding your cushion, your chair. If you're sitting cross-legged, you want to make sure that you've got your cushions propped up so your hips are higher than your knees. That'll support you in feeling less strain on your knees and on your feet. You can also take a bolster or a cushion and straddle it like this, which also just takes that pressure off of the knees. If you find that your feet or your legs tend to fall asleep in meditation, this is a nice way to take that pressure out and allow some circulation. Or also a chair is really nice. If you have a chair and can especially have your feet on the ground for grounding, really nice option as well. So taking your position and just making any adjustments or movements that you need to make so that you are comfortable and sitting upright with your hands down. And let your eyes close now and bring all your focus internally. And let's guide our awareness again back to the breath. And see what you need to do to make your breath more smooth and more even. If you feel that your mind is active, you can try counting the inhale, count of 4 or 5, and then seeing if you can match that count on your exhale. Really using your breath as a tool of making inward contact. Steadying the mind. And generating some stillness and quietude within the body. As your body finds a nice rhythm of breath. And having found that nice rhythm to your breath, expand your awareness a bit to include your whole physical body. Feeling into your body from your head all the way down through the head, neck, shoulders, and the arms and the torso. All the way down through the hips, down through the legs and the feet. Touching into all of those major points in the body, and just noticing with some curiosity what it's like to be in your physical body right now, in this moment. And noticing which parts of your body are easy to inhabit. You might feel your awareness more in your head, where we're accustomed to living. Notice where your awareness feels comfortable down lower in your body, and where it may be more uncomfortable to fully inhabit. And to the best of your ability, see how much of your whole physical body you can inhabit right now in this moment. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then attuning to the area of your chest, so making your awareness more localized right in the space of your chest. And if it helps to bring your hands to your chest, your heart center, just place hand over hand at the center of your chest, dropping your awareness down into the space of your chest. And again, if the mind is really active today, you can use your fingertips and create some tapping the head, and then starting to tap down through the temples, through the face, down to the chin, to the neck, to the upper chest, and then down to the heart center. Just drawing your awareness down into the space of the chest, and see if you can land there. And feel free when you get there to keep the hands where they are, or drop the hands again down to the thighs. And it can help to visualize a tiny point right in the center of your chest. Small point of light. Seeing if you can attune to that point, and just practicing bringing your awareness and your attention there. And usually we sit out a little bit out in front of ourselves, always looking ahead, looking forward. So make sure you're really sitting back towards the center of yourself. Might feel like you're pulling even more towards the back of yourself than what you're used to find that center point of your chest. And spend a couple minutes here tuning to that point. Again, it can help to visualize that light. Imagine a flame burning there in the center of your chest, center of the heart. Letting whatever thoughts, whatever feelings, whatever images may arise, just arise in your consciousness as you continue to sit and to rest and to breathe right from the very center of your heart space. taking a breath in through the nose, maybe feeling that breath as if you're initiating it in the heart space, like you're breathing into the heart, letting the breath fall out of your mouth. And then dropping your awareness all the way down into your feet, your lower legs, maybe even giving your feet a little squeeze with your hands. And starting to drop down into the space of our grounded presence, down through the lower third of the body and down into the feet. And this can take some practice. We're not used to being this far down in the body. Just seeing if you can drop yourself down there, feel that you're inhabiting your feet from the heels all the way through to your toes. And let your breath itself adjust to being down lower in your body so that your breath doesn't lift you subtly up and away. It can stay down in the space of your grounded presence. And it can help here to visualize the earth underneath you. Or even to visualize cords connecting the very center of the soles of your feet down deep within the space of the earth, the ground underneath you. You're feeling that you need extra grounding. You can even visualize the very center of the earth down way beneath. Imagine that center, that magnetic core of the earth, and imagine that your feet have cords that connect you and tether you all the way to that deep center of the earth. And taking a couple minutes here to just feel into your own deep and grounded, anchored presence. And then slowly drawing your awareness again upwards, up and through the space of the pelvis and the torso, and passing through the space of the heart again, touching in. Taking a breath there in the center of the heart. And then letting your awareness travel upwards again into the space of the head, into the space of the mind. And noticing that your mind might feel considerably more quiet now, having touched in to this deep embodied space of the heart and the feet and the ground underneath you. And so letting yourself just rest in this quiet space of the mind for a moment. You might even visualize, again, a tiny point of light or a flame right in the center of your head. And then using your awareness, your attention to absorb and just attune yourself right to that tiny small point right in the center of your head. And very slowly and gently now coming back into an awareness of your whole body. And you might feel that center of your head, center of your heart, and 2 points right at the soles of the feet, connecting you to the ground underneath you, feeling into all of those points all at once, coming into this unified field of your experience within the space of the whole body. And just sitting here for a moment, experiencing yourself within the space of your whole body. Taking a big breath in through the nose now, filling your body up with breath. And letting that breath fall out of your mouth with a sigh. And bringing the hands into your heart center. Filling your space for a moment with the qualities of gratitude and appreciation for yourself, for taking the time to sit with yourself today, taking the time to breathe and to move and to make this inward contact with yourself. And the light in me honors and acknowledges the light inside of each of you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.